So we are in Parashat Yisro, and we said the other day that this is the very important Parasha, because this is where the Jewish people are going to experience the biggest event ever that is making us the Jewish people receiving the Torah. We mentioned that already from creation, Hashem was waiting for this day. There will be a nation that will receive His Torah, and they'll glorify God's name in the world. Some people ask, guys, why the Torah is not given to the patriarchs? Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, the great people, how come the Torah is not given to them? So the answer is that Hashem was waiting to give the Torah for a nation, not to individuals. Avram was an individual, right? A great-grandfather. Avram was an individual. Yitzchak, Yaakov. Only by Yaakov we start to build really to extend the Jewish family. The 12 tribes. Over there really starts the tribes, and they go down to Egypt. Hashem redeems them. They go out to the desert and they receive the Torah. So Hashem was waiting to give the Torah to a nation, not to individuals. And that's why he, so to speak, he had to wait, right, and not to give the Torah earlier. But we do know that the Midrash teaches us and the Gemara teaches us that the patriarchs fulfilled the Torah voluntarily, meaning they were not commanded to do it, but Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov were keeping Shabbat and putting on tefillin and such. Now, so this is really the most important event ever. I just want to go over with you. The Torah goes in details. You know, they went out of Egypt, they go out to the desert, and what the first thing the Jewish people do?
Complain.
Here you go, complain. Oh, no water, no that, right? But let's move on, right? Eventually, they come into Mount Sinai. And the Torah describes in details when they arrived to Mount Sinai and the preparation that was done for Matan Torah. So first you see the idea, the message is that it's very important to, we human being, we are psychological. We have a mindset, right? We have a thoughts, right? We have to observe things in the right way. And the Torah is teaching us this message that we have to prepare ourselves for Matan Torah. It's not just one day in the morning, Moshe calls them, hey guys, come out from the tent, we're receiving the Torah today, it's happening. It's preparation, and the Torah goes in details how they prepare themselves. So we'll see that. But the big message is, guys, is that you need a preparation, especially when you're talking about a big thing, something that is important, something that is crucial, something that it could be a game change for your life. You need the right preparation. That's the message. So I want to go back. Let's go back the first time when Hashem is speaking to Moshe in the event over there in the bush. So what is it? 300?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay. 300? Yeah. 300 that's where Hashem meets Moshe in the bush, right? Moshe sees this strange thing, right? The bush is on fire, but the fire is not eating the bush. So look at 302. Page 302, 302. Verse 12. Verse 11. Let's do verse 11. So, verse 11. So, Hashem told Moshe, right? Moshe came to check the bush, and Hashem said to him, okay, it's time to take out my people out of Egypt. And Hashem is going into details, you know, and I'll bring them into the land, right? The great land of Canaan, the land of milk and honey. and you'll be the Redeemer, you'll be the messenger. You go, right, and speak to Paro. What does Moshe answer? What does Moshe respond? Vayomer Moshe le'Elokim, mi anochi? Who I am? Me? You want me to go to speak to Paro? Moshe is a shepherd in Midian, right? Vayomer Moshe le'Elokim, mi anochi? Who I am? Ki elech el Paro. V'chi otzi et bnei Yisrael mimitzrayim. The Ramban explains that Moshe is saying two things over here. First of all, who I am to go to speak to Paro. I'm a simple shepherd from Midian. If our shepherd comes to speak to the king and says to him, hey, by the way, let my people go, right? I mean, the real reaction probably of a king, just get rid of him in 2 seconds, right? So that's the mianochu, who I am to go to speak to Paro, right? Second, what Moshe is saying is, you think that the Jewish people will listen to me? I have the capacity that the Jewish people will follow me. So there's really two things going on here. The fear from Paro. I'm really a nobody. Who I am to go to speak to Paro. B, also with the Jewish people, why they should follow me. I'm capable to take out the Jewish people from Egypt? That's what the Ramban points out. And therefore Hashem answers to him in verse 12. Vayomer ki hiye imcha. For your concern that you have fear from Paro, don't worry. I'm with you. Right? So I'm giving you on the back, I'm with you 100%. So it's not you going to Paro alone. I'm with you and supporting you 100%. Ki hiye imcha, I'm with you. V'zeh lecha ha'ot, and this will be your sign. Ki anochi shelachticha, that I send you. Behotziatcha, when you'll take out et ha'am mimitzrayim, you'll take out the nation, when you will take them out of Egypt, ta'avdun, you'll serve et Elokim, the God, you'll serve me, ala harazeh. This is the sign that when you do take out the people from Egypt, they'll work God, they'll serve God on this mountain. What is Hashem saying over here? Hashem is saying, the Ramban explains like this. This is the answer for your second problem, right? The first problem we said, don't worry, I'm with you. Don't be afraid from Paro, I'm with you. Okay. How the Jewish people follow me, who I am. Again, just a simple man from nowhere in Midian. Why they should follow me, listen to me, cooperate with me? The answer is, here we go. We'll do it in stages. You go and tell them that it's time to be redeemed, right? And all slaves want to go out of slavery. Nobody wants to stay out in slavery. How they'll follow you, so you don't have to tell them right away that, we're going out to Israel and Hashem has this mega plan. We'll do it in stages. First, they'll come here and serve Hashem in this mountain. Ubi Matan Torah. The Jewish people will start to be familiar with Hashem revealing himself to them, and that will make it that they'll listen to you. So meaning, Moshe, you become Moshe after the Jewish people, that to go out of slavery just for a few days, it's simple. That's not a big job. And they'll be even more strong and familiar with you and comfortable to follow you after Matan Torah. And that's what he's saying. Don't worry. You don't have to go straight to the big, big thing. We're talking on something small. Just take them out of Egypt, slavery, right? For that, they'll be happy to listen to you. The fear of Paro, don't worry. The Jewish people, you're talking about something small. Go out for a few days to serve Hashem in this mountain, right? That will cause them that they're starting the system, starting this idea, right? Getting used to the idea that Hashem is with them. Hashem has a plan. He's going to take it out of Egypt. He's taking care of them in the desert. Eventually, he wants to bring them to Israel. So that's the answer in the very beginning. And that's what we're going to see now, that's what's happening. When Hashem is going to appear to the Jewish people in Mount Sinai, he says to Moshe, by this event that the Jewish people experience in Mount Sinai, seen that you over there in the mountain, I'm speaking to you and you communicating to the Jewish people, that is the strength of Moshe, and that's what makes Moshe Moshe. And that was the totally belief of the Jewish people, the highest level of belief, that now the Jewish people totally believe in Moshe. V'gam becha yaminu le'olam. Okay? So I just wanted to show that that's how Hashem said to him already then, that this is what will be happen, that you'll come to this mountain and we'll take it from there. What is? Oh, good. Okay. Okay, now let's go to Parashat Yitro. So we
Quick question. Why is it that God's saying that you have to believe in Moshe? Hashem is the one we believe, right? Why Moshe?
Believe in Moshe means that you believe that the Moshe is a true prophet. That's what it means, believe in Moshe. That Moshe is a true prophet, that all what he's saying is coming from Hashem. It works in a way that Hashem appears. Moshe was the highest level as a human being that is possible. Moshe goes up to heaven 40 days, 40 nights, and doesn't eat, doesn't drink. Oops. Don't try it, right? It's not going to work. So how did it happen, right? So, and all the commentaries explain also, the Talmud also explains, that Moshe had the highest level of prophecy. It says in the Torah, actually, that when Miriam, right, and Aaron are talking about Moshe, hey, he left his wife behind, right? This sin of Lashon Hara talking about Moshe, what did he do? So Hashem comes to them and says, hey, how you talking to my servant, right? He's different than others.
And I think that to answer the anxiety that Moshe feels over leading the Jewish people, which is a real anxiety, because when he had those two Jews who said, how are you going to arbitrate for us? Who are you to do that?
Right.
Are you going to strike us down? And,
right.
And what Hashem tells Moshe is like, you're going to tell them that you're taking them to the mountain to serve me. And so part of the amelioration there is like, you're going to align your instruction with my commandment and my guidance, and really you're bringing them to my doorstep, and that's how you're going to convince them. It's my authority, like you said.
Right. Meaning Hashem is saying to him in different words, I'm not asking you something crazy, I think it's something that is doable. Bring them to the mountain to serve Hashem, and we'll take it from there. That's the idea. Okay, let's go to chapter 19. So, chapter 19, page 400. I am skipping a bit, as you realize this is already chapter 19, it's the Aliyah of Revi'i. Let's get to the main event of Parshat Yitro, is Matan Torah. It is mentioned here something also very interesting, the advice that Yitro gave to Moshe. Everybody's familiar. Why is he judging alone all the Jewish people? And they're waiting in line forever to get to speak to Moshe. And he gives them this idea, hire ministers below you that they could handle the small things and the big issues bring to Moshe. So the simple understanding, do you really need Yitro for that advice? It wasn't something, wow, inventing something unbelievable over here. It sounds very simple. Why are you handling everything on your own and people are waiting in a line, right? Hire ministers, deal with small things, and the big things bring to you. So you might say, again, you need somebody from the outside to see your problems sometimes. Sometimes you don't realize your own problems. You need somebody thinking outside the box. So also over here. But some commentaries explain that the Moshe was thinking that he knew that it's a problem and they're waiting in line, but maybe it's worth it to speak to Moshe. So, yeah, they're waiting in line and it's taking forever, but at the end of the day, you're getting to speak with Moshe. So it's worth the upside of speaking to Moshe directly, right? And Yitro came and said his advice, yeah, I hear what you're saying, that it's an upside also to wait to speak to you, but the downside is greater. The time and the efforts that the people have to wait, So for the small things, really, it's not worth it to wait to talk to you. If it will be something big, that's worth to come to speak to you. That's another approach. Okay, that's in the meantime. That's here in the middle. Let's go to chapter 19, Pasuk Aleph. B'chodesh hashlishi, the third month, letzet bnei Yisrael, when the Jewish people went out of Egypt, Meret Mitzrayim, bayom hazen, that very day, ba'u midbar Sinai, they arrived in the desert of Sinai. The third Jewish month is Sivan. The Jewish people go out of Egypt the 15th of Nisan, right, in the morning. By the way, you see this idea, when something has to happen, right, Hashem makes sure that it happens exactly on time. The Jewish people are 210 years in Egypt, and comes exactly the moment that they have to go out, and Hashem rushes them to go out. Of course, it was a way to say, 1 second, let's get organized and let's plan it, right? And let's take it easy, 2 weeks of packing, right? And no, Hashem rushes them, because the idea is when it does come the time, it has to happen now. That's also showing the hand of Hashem. How could millions of people, right, get together, right, and travel so fast and leave Egypt? So is the two ideas together, showing that when the right time comes, it's going to happen right away, and showing the strength of Hashem. When redemption has to happen, at the moment that it has to happen, it's going to happen, and Hashem will do everything that it should happen, right? Instead of the women imagine, we need a pack, right? 2 weeks to pack, and to pack this, and to pack that, right? Whoops! That's one of the greatest miracles, right? Okay. So they come to Midbar Sinai. Look at verse 2. Vayisu merefidim. They traveled from Refidim. Vayavo Midbar Sinai. They arrived in Midbar Sinai. Vayachanu b'midbar. They camped. They parked in the desert. Vayichan sham Yisrael. Yisrael neged ahar. Again, they camped. They settled across the mountain. Do you see a difficulty here? Just these two verses. Do you see any problem in this verse? These two verses? What does verse 1 say? That they got there. What does verse 2 say? Oh, they traveled and they came. You already told me that they came. Right? Verse 1 says, Pasuk Aleph says, B'chodesh hashlishi, the third month. For the exodus of the Jewish people from Egypt, they came to Midbar Sinai. And then verse 2, he said, they traveled from Refidim and they came to Midbar Sinai. It seems to be out of order. It had to tell me first that they traveled from Refidim and they arrived to Mount Sinai, to the desert of Sinai. It seems to be out of order, and it seems to be also repeating. So what's going on here? So the Ohr Chaim is saying we're talking about the Jewish people eventually, finally coming to the biggest event ever, right? The wedding, the Jewish people, the wedding with Hashem, right? So to speak, Hashem couldn't wait to say, the Jewish people arrived. So the Torah jumps and says, the Jewish people made it, we're in Mount Sinai. And then after we explain, they traveled from this place called Refidim and they made it. But first we want to get to the main idea. Oh my gosh, this is really happening. Finally, my dream that the nation will come and receive my Torah in Mount Sinai, it's really happening now. So we're going to the main thing first. They arrived, they're here, it's happening. It's going to happen in a few days. I'm about to give them the Torah. And then we're going to details explaining, how they traveled. And that's verse 1. They arrived. Verse 2 explains the detail. They traveled from Refidim to Sinai. Why did Hashem wait 50 days to give them the Torah? If Hashem is taking them out to give the Torah, why not in 48 hours? You need what?
See if they still want it,
So what is this? So how you hoping by 50 days? Ah. So the Midrash says that the Jewish people were not doing so great in Egypt. Whatever that means, it's a little bit Kabbalistic ideas and mystical ideas, but we do understand, even for our level, that they were not doing great. And many of them were worshiping idols, not necessarily keeping Shabbat like they're supposed to do, right, or whatever. So it says that there were 49 gates of impurity. So again, whatever that means. But the idea we get, the Jewish people, you can't take somebody that is so deep in impurity and make that jump and say to him, okay, yesterday you're worshiping, 10 different kinds of idols and you're doing this and that, right? And now, hey, come to the shul, keep Shabbos, put on tefillin, eat kosher, right? It just doesn't work. And that's again the idea that you need preparation. Actually, it says in Tehillim, Sur Mera, stay away from the bad, Ve'aseh Tov, and then do the good. Right? That's what David HaMelech is telling us. We human being, right? We have body, we have needs, we're psychological, like I said. So we work in a certain system, and Hashem can't just take out the people and give them the Torah right away in a few hours. He's preparing them in the 50 days in the desert, is really taking them out from the impurity that they're in Egypt. And the commentaries explain that actually every day was for every gate. 49 gates of impurity, every day was preparation that they should be able to receive the Torah. And they're doing both. Sur Mira, getting rid of the bad that they were doing in Egypt, Ve'aseh Tov, and preparing them for Matan Torah. And that's why it says, B'chodesh hashlishi, only in the third month he's coming and they're ready to receive the Torah. And here we're starting the final real preparation for receiving the Torah. Yes?
I also wonder if there's a need to cool down from the miracles so that people can accept the Torah more sober-mindedly, right? Like maybe it's still a huge sway on you, but it's a benefit that when you receive the Torah finally, you have this period of like calmness and like absence of bits from just crazy events.
So
in order that it's more
I
of a
think
choice.
that you could take that in mind also, have that in mind also. All was needed to prepare themselves for Matan Torah. But definitely the main idea was that they were not ready to receive the Torah right away. Mm-hmm. And that's why Hashem does wait 50 days, even though it's like the groom that is waiting for the wedding, right? When is this going to happen? When is the bride coming? And we'll have this mega wedding, but you need the patience, but you got to do it at the right time. And okay, yes.
So after multiple generations for hundreds of years in Egypt, it only took them 50 days to be fully from and ready for
Okay, so right, so now you're asking, so how it could be 50 days? Forget about a few hours. How it could be 50 days? So the answer is we do say also like this. You open up, it says that a man has to just take a few steps and Hashem helps him with the rest. It says, the Talmud says, you open up, just do a hole like a needle and Hashem will open up like a huge hole. So it's all hishtadlut, what it has to be. The minimum hishtadlut that had to be done is 50 days. Okay, so that's what I said. That's the Or Chaim explaining that's what it means. He's jumping and saying, "They arrived. We're here. We're about to have this mega wedding, right? The biggest ever event." And then he explains in details. But look a minute in Pasuk Bet again that they traveled from Refidim. They arrived in Mount Sinai. They camped. And then it says, Vayichan Sham Israel. They camped over there. They parked over there. Look at Rashi, Vayichan Sham Israel. Ki ish echad belev echad. A very crucial point here. Here, the Jewish people are coming with peace. One like. Ke'ish echad belev echad. What does that mean? No fights, no arguments, no fighting, no complaining, right? Everybody's coming together with like one man with one heart. Interesting, if you realized, last week we read that the Egyptians were running after the Jewish people, right? Paro heard that, hey, they ran away, they're not coming back. So he recruits his 600 soldiers, wagons, horses, and they go run after the Jewish people. And it says Mitzrayim are running after them. And Rashi says, why it says like single, Mitzrayim. Rashi says there are one heart, like one heart and one man. What's the difference? One heart, one man, or if you say one man and one heart? Sorry?
They weren't as connected then.
Oh. So look at this Rashi, right? You see, ki ish echad belev echad. One man, one heart. And in the previous parasha,
Bless you. Bless you, Christian. Nice library.
health.
Whatever it is. Bless you was from the black plate.
Oh, which we caused.
It's good.
Yeah, look at look at chapter 14, verse 10.
Ooh.
Chapter 14, verse 10.
We're going back.
Here.
Yeah, I want to show you the difference.
370.
What is it? 370?
Yeah.
Is the extended brand.
So, look at verse 10. Uparo, 370. Uparo hikriv. Paro is coming closer. He's pursuing, running after the Jewish people. Vayesu bnei Yisrael et einehem. They raise their eyes, they pick up their eyes. Vehine Mitzrayim noseh acherem. The Egyptians are after them. Says Rashi, Mitzrayim. Look at that verse. Mitzrayim noseh. He is traveling. It says he is single. It doesn't say Mitzrayim nosim, plural. It says noseh, like one individual. Umitzrayim noseh acherem. The Egyptians are traveling after them, but it says single, noseh. Says Rashi, noseh acherem, belev echad ki ish echad. One heart, like one man. And that's a big difference. The difference is like this, and it's very important. When the Jewish people come to Mount Sinai, that was one of the conditions, if we're talking about preparing for Mount Sinai, this is a crucial idea. They have to be united. How many mitzvot we have? 613. If I want to be a great tzaddik, could I fulfill the 613 mitzvot? No way, right? I'm not a Kohen. I'm not a Levi. One of the commandments is things that sometimes don't have to happen in life, right? Like a man divorces his wife. Doesn't have to happen, right? Hopefully it won't happen, right? But if it does, that's what you do. So there's no way, guys, that a man could fulfill the 613 mitzvot. So what is this whole idea of 613 mitzvot? If I can't do 613 mitzvot, so what is this? The answer is, together we could do 613 mitzvot. The Jewish people, the power of the Jewish people is only when they are united, only when they are together, and that's what the Talmud teaches us. Kol Israel, all the Jewish people, arevim ze lazeh. We guarantee one for each other. It's like you signed a loan for your friend, you're a guarantor for him. All Jewish people, Kol Israel, arevim ze lazeh, they're guarantor to one each other. It's not just a nice idea to say that we care for each other and we have in mind for each other. It's real. That's reality. And that's the only way in order to receive the Torah, they had to come park into Mount Sinai together like one man, meaning that really like one man, or one man means that he has one heart. That's what it says by the Jewish people. That's what Rashi says, Ki'ish echad, they arrived, they came to Mount Sinai, one man, one heart. By the Egyptians it says, one heart like one man, meaning for that moment, the Egyptians had something in common that they want to pursue and get the Jewish people back to slavery. It was only a temporary thing at that moment. Belev echad, on one hand, like one man, but it wasn't real. It was temporarily, only for that moment. Oh my gosh, they ran away. Let's run after them. Let's bring them back to slavery. We all miss the Jewish slaves. Let's bring them back. So it's temporary and not real. But the Jewish people, it's crucial. And it's one of the conditions. And it's a condition that is necessary and it wouldn't happen without it. And that's why it says, Vayichan, single, not plural. They came, eventually they come, after traveling from Refidim, they come to Mount Sinai with this idea that they're united, they're together. Now we're in business, now Hashem could go and give them the Torah. Okay. So that's Vayichan Israel Neged Dahar. Now, what we're going to see in the next verses is the preparation that Hashem is going to communicate to the Jewish people through Moshe. Verse 3. Umoshe alai Elokim, Moshe goes up to Hashem, Vaikra elav min hahar. So we're back to chapter 19, verse 3. So Moshe goes up, right, to speak to Hashem, to hear, so how we do this to happen. What are the details? Vaikra elav Hashem min hahar lemor. Kotomar lebeit Israel. This is what you should tell the women. Lebeit Yaakov. Beit Yaakov is referring to the women. Vetagid lebnei Israel, and to tell the males of the Jewish people. By the way, if you realize, Tomar in Hebrew is a soft language. To the women, you just have to speak softly. They get it. But the men, you have to speak tough. Tagid. Tagid is the harder language. So Hashem is already telling them how to handle with the Jewish people, how to deal with them. To the Jewish women, Tomar. Kot Tomar lebeit Yaakov. Vetagid, but with the being tough more with the men. Okay? Atem raitem et asher asiti lemitzrayim. You saw with your own eyes. It's not stories. It's not witnesses that came to tell you. It's not messengers. You saw with your own eyes. I'm speaking to you, the people that saw all what happened in Egypt. Atem reitem asher asiti lemitzrayim. Ve'esa etchem, I carried you, al kanfei nesharim. I carried you like on the wings of the eagle. Ve'esatchem, I carried you, al kanfei, the wings of the eagle, ve'avi otchem elai, and I'm bringing it over to you. So Hashem is telling Moshe, this is what you should tell the Jewish people, right? You saw with your own eyes. It's not stories. It's not secondhand. It's you. You are the people, right? You are actually the witnesses that will be for the future. You saw all what I did in Egypt, my hand, my power. And I carried you on the wings of the eagle. What is that? So Rashi says that all other birds carry the how you call them? The babies, right, in the legs, because they fly low. So they're afraid, right, from other birds. So they put them in the legs. The eagle flies the highest, he buys above. There's nobody above him. So he puts the babies on his wings. And that's why Hashem says, I carried you and I protected you from everybody like the eagle. Not only that I carried you.
Is that true? Is that actually the behavior, or?
That's what it means, that Hashem is taking care of us. That's what Rashi says. Look at Rashi, guys. Al kanfei nesharim.
I don't know, man. I just want to know if I can look on National Geographic and it's like, yes,
Yeah.
do these things.
The fear of the eagle is not from other birds. The fear of an eagle is from an arrow that a man will shoot on him. So he puts the babies on the wings to protect him, to full protection. All other birds are afraid from other birds. Just look at Rashi. Kenesher hanose gozalav al kanfav, on his wings. Shekol sharafot, all other birds, notnim et benehem ben raglehem, they put the babies between the legs. Lefi shemityarin, they're afraid mi'of acher, from a different bird. Aval hanesher hazeh, this eagle, he has no fear, eno mityare ela mina adam. He's afraid only from men, from human being that will shoot at him an arrow and kill him. Wow. So Hashem carried you and carrying you in the best way that's possible, meaning full protection, like the eagle that carries the babies. Similar to that, that's Rashi. Similar to that, the Sfana says, I carried you in other ways, right? If you remember, Hashem, when he went out, he's taking out the Jewish people, he didn't want to take them near the nation of Plishtim, that they'll start up with them and start a war. So they surrounded and they went around in the desert. Meaning I carried you in a way, in different ways, there is no other people over there, in order that I'll take care of you 100%, and you don't have to deal with the local people fighting with you and starting a war. Okay, we'll stop here for today.